Today I'm going to go ahead and use mineral spirits to smooth out, blend the areas here. I just want a kind of a clean, smooth surface. I'll be using odorless paint thinner, and I have it in my container here. I'll be using a small little brush. I think it's a nylon brush. And for this here, even though it's odorless, I need to use a mask. I'm using an organic. It says organic vapors, provides protection against organic vapors. During this recording, I may sound like Darth Vader because I'll have the mask on, so if you can't hear me, I'll try to do my best to project. Now, before I put the mask on, there's different ways of actually getting a smooth surface. Prior to using the brush and thinner, I went through the entire piece with different tools, hit and miss, to kind of smooth out, blend the rough areas. And I'm just basically using the paint thinner to go over the fine details, get us a nice transition from a rough, semi-rough part to smooth out the area in general. For instance, here, let's say I were to have some kind of nick, I use a tool and just to kind of get rid of it. Just go back and forth till it disappears. A lot of times it's best, if it's a big piece, or not even a big piece, is to kind of go in this direction where your hairline pattern flows through. For instance, here, I know the hairline, the hairs will come down this way, so I could actually do this number here, so I get somewhat of a smooth transition. Now, this is only one technique. There's many different techniques. I used to use a denatured alcohol torch with a small spoon, if you will. Hit with the torch. It'll soften up, and you just go back and forth to smooth it out. That works fine. This thinner and brush for this purpose work fine, because for now I'm just going to go over it once. I'm going to see if I like it, and I'll probably tweak it a few more times, add more detail to it. Once I add the detail, I'll go back and follow the same procedure with the brush and thinner till I'm happy with it. I don't like any hard lines on my sculptures, and a lot of the tools will leave tool marks, so I try to get rid of those for the most part. So here it goes. Let's get on my mask. Luke, I am your father. Even though the stuff is odorless, the fumes are not good for you. In fact, let me zoom in on this so you guys can get a shot of this. Let's see. I'll focus on this area. Now, depending on what you're using, if you were to use turpentine, it would basically work quicker, but it smells like hell. I like to use mineral spirits because it's a slow burn, if you will. Therefore, it gives me more control than actually putting something on that's going to be extremely hard in the clay. Back up now. I would apply the paint thinner on wide and give it time to work. Now I'll come back with the brush. I'm going to zoom out. Now this is a new head I'm working on. The other head was too large, so I decided to remake the head. As you can see, this is the other head. Much too big for the piece I'm working on. So I figured it'd be quicker to start from scratch. Now any of the odorless paint thinner will work. Ones you can pick up at Home Depot work fine. And this one happens to be, I took it from my paint section. Oil colors, oil paints. I think it's Mona Lisa brand. But doesn't really matter. Even though it is odorless, it will give you, I shouldn't say give you a headache, well, it'll give you a headache. It'll get you high. You need to be in a well-ventilated room. And since I'm not, I'm in an office right now, so that's why I decided to wear this mask. And these filters on these masks, they do have an expiration date on it. This is a very awkward position here, so I can't really see what I'm doing. I can see a couple of sections under the lips here. Do they have lips? Anyhow, this section here, the undercut, I need to blend it. So I'm going to take my tool here. Where did it go? This is a 1/16. And I'm closing that seam now. I added a piece of clay
for this section here. I sound like Darth Vader. Luke, I am the father. So you can see the bottom section here. It's not correct. So I need to blend that. So let's go with this here. This is not the final step. I still have many phases to go over. Like I said, I will do this, go back, add more detail, revisit it, and once I put the whole harsh together, I'm going to do the same thing and give the entire piece another wash, smooth everything out. Sure. Yeah, you get the idea. I'm going to put this in front of me so I can be a little more productive. I can't really see what I'm doing right now. It's a really awkward angle. So let me move this here. Now, the other piece, I wasn't completely happy with the sculpture because, to me, it was missing something. It didn't quite look like the Frisian head. So I spoke to a person from the club there, the Frisian Club of Southern California, and she sent me a few images of what a good freezing head should look like. So that's what I'm going by. When I'm working here, it is a monster clay. It's the original monster clay. I understand they have new clays now, a soft, medium, and hard. My understanding is that this is comparable to the medium one. And this is more of a control burn. I'm not sure if burn is the correct thing, but what you're doing is you're adding the solvent to your clay and it's reacting with it. As you can see on the surface, you're getting this film, this what is it? That's a good word for it. A slurry, if you will, really light, and it just makes subtle changes. You could actually, if you were working on a piece and you want to detail something, you could actually take your brush and work on creating some kind of detail. But right now, my main concern for this phase of it, I just want to get a pretty uniform, even surface throughout, blending everything together. And in a couple of days, I'll come back to this and revisit and say, okay, what do I like, what don't I like about it? And there I'll go ahead and tweak it, add, subtract, change something. I've decided to more or less go with a smooth surface. Most of my work I've done in the past, I created a lot of little hairlines to give it a lot of texture. The only thing with that is when you want to give the bronze some kind of sheen, gloss to it, it's kind of hard. So by having a smooth surface, it's much easier when you buff it, wax it, the piece really pops and it gives you a nice little sheen to it. The size of this brush is, it says it's a number 5 artist brush. If I look at it, it looks more like a quarter in width. It's a flat brush, quarter width. In the past, I've used different brushes, rounds, animal hair brushes. For this, I just like to use, I don't like to get into my expensive paint brushes. I use those for my oils. But even if I did, I would just go ahead and soak my brush in the same solution, the thinner, and clean them from there without pulling on the hairs, because you don't want to pull on the hair on the brush, otherwise you ruin the brush. Technically, I could have used a larger brush to go through this here, but a lot of times I like to do it slow. And a larger brush, been difficult to get into smaller crevices. After a while, you can see all this slurry starts developing on your brush. I just take a tissue paper and wipe it on there. Now, the reason I'm using paint thinner here, mineral spirits, whatever you want to call it, is because this is an oil-based clay. Had it been a water-based clay, you would obviously use water. And the same process would apply to any of your oil-based clays, your chavants, and anything that's out there. There's another area back here I need to fuse together. Now, if you want updated videos on this project, subscribe to the channel, and as I make the videos, you'll get a notice via your email or your YouTube account, and you'll be able to see the new uploads. Let's rotate this. Oh, my eyes. I'm using eyes from a taxidermist. I think these particular eyes are 14 millimeter eyes, and they're referred to them as deer eyes. I had no clue you had a deer's that small. And they're acrylic. And I don't remember the name of the company that made them. Tokin, or something. It starts with a TTO something. The reason I like them because they actually look like horse eyes. They have the pupil that's more of a rectangle, horizontal pupil. See, the lip, I don't like the lip. I'm going to have to rework it, but maybe if I do this long enough here, it'll kind of set it back a little more. The other day, this whole area, this right side, I used this particular tool. It's a dental tool, and I created all these little fine hairlines, and after I was done I didn't like it, so that's why I decided to get rid of it. Later I'm also going to add some veins to the face here. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put them, but I'll go ahead and study the anatomy of the horse and see exactly where the veins should be. Okay, now that the clay is soft enough and I don't need it to blend anymore, I'm going to go ahead and put this away and use the brush and this tissue paper here and start removing and so you don't ruin your brushes. Never take a brush and press and pull. You'll remove it from there, the bristles. So what I do is just basically back and forth, just dab it on and always push away this way. Don't do this bit here. You don't want to destroy the form of your brush. You want a nice sharp edge. Again, on the final brush strokes, try to follow the hair pattern That way it makes sense if it basically you would leave out marks at the end, at least the mind would interpret that, oh, those are hairlines. And I'm not applying pressure on this here, I'm just basically letting the brush do the work. Really light strokes. Now this freezing horse is not a commission. It's just something I've been always wanting to do. And the Friesians, for the most part, are my favorite horse breed. So I'm taking my time on it, and I just want to do it right. I want to make sure the anatomy is correct, and the Frisian community approves of it, since they're the experts. So I kind of reach out to them for help. I just realized, well, I didn't realize, trying to sculpt using a 2D is very difficult. So a lot of times you have to find a 3D or go and study the actual subject. I'm planning on attending a couple of Frisian shows, and they said I could go ahead and go over them with my hands and feel the body structure of the muscle, just to get an idea. Need to get this on the eyes, not to worry, just wait till it dries up and just hit it with a piece of tissue paper, and it comes right off. If you try removing it while it's still wet, you're just going to make it worse. It's starting to stiffen up on me, so I wet the tip of my brush again with the paint thinner. I was looking on eBay, and you could find a horse skull, complete horse skull, for about 125 bucks. It's not bad. There's your armature. Apply clay to it. I was trying to find a Frisian skull, and I could not find one. I don't know. I'm sure that they differ. Overall, they're the same from horse to horse. Just like an English Bulldog skull, it's different from other breeds. So I just wondering how much it'll differ from breed to breed. Work on those ears. Interesting about the Frisians, the tips of the ears turn inward. Now, the mane comes on later after I'm happy with the overall look and feel of the horse, because the mane and tail and feathers on the legs, that's easy. That's basically that. You apply it in any which way the wind blows, will look okay. Okay, that's not bad for the first phase, the first attempt. Once it dries completely, I'll see what corrections I need. Then I might hit it again with another wash. If not, I'll wait till the horse is completely done. Then I'll hit the entire horse when it's all assembled. In a couple of days, I'll go ahead and add a few veins here, subtle veins to the face area. So I'm not looking for it to be perfect, because at the foundry, once they cast it and they do the metal work and everything, when they hit it with the buffers and everything, a lot of these small little details will kind of disappear. You'll get a nice sheen. Now, using an armature stand actually comes in very handy. When I work with my hard clay, I usually get the piece and work it with my hands, and I don't put it on the stand because the clay is so hard that it just won't bend, or I won't be able to alter it. But since this clay is somewhat on the medium size, every time I even ever slightly touch the clay, eventually the heat of my hands will soften the clay and I'll just start the piece. So that's why I have it on this armature stand here. This looks correct, the width of this from here to there. And when I look at the monitor, I don't know if it's a little small. I may have to make it larger. I'm not sure. Let's see. This part. Later I'll go back and add all the detail to the lip area. I don't call it the nozzle, but whatever this area is called, it's like in detail. Okay, I guess that's it for now. I'll let it dry. Come back later, add my veins to it. Alright, thank you for viewing, and if you like the channel, subscribe to it.